Hey, everybody. Happy Friday and welcome to our second training broadcast of the week. My name is MJ and I'm so glad to be hosting you. We are going to be talking about the secret to marketing your boutique without killing yourself. So, what am I talking about? A lot of you ladies, you have a dream of being able to sell your product and maybe a service or two to the marketplace. And so, based on advice you were given or what you have seen in the marketplace from other boutique owners, you have literally spread yourself thin. I talked to somebody the other day and they were talking about I'm on all these platforms. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on I'm on this online, going live here, and I'm on YouTube. And I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot because a lot of people feel like the broad, I'm going to wait. Oh, there I am. Okay, I'm back. Feel like if they can put their, uh, of capturing market share, of making more, which is what you want to do when you start a boutique. You trade your or cash from your customers' pockets, right? And so the more places I am, the bigger chance I have of finding the people who want what I have. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it, right? There's 8 billion people on the planet and they're everywhere. You know, even if you don't sell internationally, I don't even know how many people in the United States, hundreds of millions. I don't know. I'm not good at those numbers, but there's a lot of people here and you figure I want to sell to everybody. Anybody who wants what I have, that's who I want to sell to. And so you put yourself everywhere. But what that ends up doing is it spreads you thin. For most of you, you are starting your business as a part-time venture, right? You're starting it out on the side from what you do for a living. You know, maybe you work a 40-hour a week job. Maybe you're working even part-time or doing 2 or 3 jobs to pay the bills. So you only have some evenings and maybe weekends to work your boutique. And so if you're doing that and you have a strategy that requires you to be in a lot of places, creating a lot of content, that stuff takes time and it's spreading you thin. But a lot of you are not seeing the results in your bank account. You're seeing sometimes even traffic to your website. So maybe you are actually attracting people to visit your website, yet they're not buying, which traffic with no sales is not good. It does you no good as a retail CEO to have people looking. That's like people walking in a store and fingerprinting. The idea that maybe they'll come back later is ridiculous. Like, right, when I walk in a store, if I don't want what you have right then, I'm probably not going to ever get it, right? It's in the moment. So having, what someone told me recently, they had maybe 6,000 people visit their site and they might have made less than 100 sales or something like that. That's an extraordinary amount of online foot traffic that's not resulting in sales. So this person was doing something in the marketing space to get that traffic, but it wasn't translating into sales. So we're going to be talking about several really tools or tips or strategies. Let's call them strategies. Tips makes it sound like it's really something like quick or easy to do. And if you just do this one quick thing, it'll work. And that's not what marketing a retail shop is about, right? So I'm going to call them strategies that you should use if you want to not market your boutique to death. If you don't want to be up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when you got to go to work at 8, trying to get people to come to your site only for them not to buy, or even worse, they're not coming at all, and you can't seem to connect for any consistent amount of time, that's a problem. Because your goal, and type below in the comments what your goal is. Most of you, your goal is to leave your job and work for yourself full time. So it's going to take more than I made $500 last month. I made $600 the previous month. The month before that, I didn't make anything. So far this month, I've made $30. It's going to take more than that to be able to have you quit your job. Most of you, depending on where you live, you're going to need a few to several $1,000s a month to live to support your family. And your boutique is going to have to be consistently making that kind of profit, not revenue. You got all this money coming in. I hear people saying, oh yeah, I made $3,000-4,000 last month. But when you get beneath the surface, they spent 5 or 6. So they're actually in the hole. Or maybe they only spent 2 or 3, but they only made about $800 to $1,000. But you can't live off of that, right? So we're going to be talking about what you can do to make sure that you're not just all over the place on every social media platform, every directory, all over, going live all the time, trying to show people your stuff, selling out of the trunk of your car, trying to get your friends and family to buy from you again, because that's what a lot of people base their decision to start a boutique on. You base it on friends and family often encourage you, and rightfully so, that, hey, you're good at this. You have a great product. You need to start your own shop. A lot of times we hear it from them. And so we kind of have this feeling of they're going to support me. But let's face it, the 15 or 20 people that you know who will support you because they know you personally, they're not going to be able to keep you in business. Expecting people you know to buy from you just because they know from you, that is not a good marketing, or that's not a good business strategy. You need to get your business in front of strangers, people who have no personal stake in you, who want to buy what you have because it's good, right? And that's what marketing accomplishes. But you got to do marketing right, or you can spend a lot of money, you can spend a lot of time and still not have the sales to show for it. So let's get into it. These are not, by the way, in any particular order. I'm usually hesitant to rank things, because then that also makes people think, well, if I just get to what the number 1 or 2 things is, that's all I need. And actually, these that we're going to talk about today, they are part of a larger overarching strategy. I've pared it down to 6 or 7 things, but quite frankly, this isn't everything. People go to school for marketing. People go to school, or they study or work in marketing for years, for decades, and are still use strategies that I can share in 20 minutes. It's not realistic. You're going to always be evolving. You're going to always be learning new things. But let's get into it. First off, with your marketing, you have to know where you fit in within your market, and then you need to speak to that. So what do I mean by where you fit in your market? Okay. I'm talking about what's sometimes referred to as market positioning, right? So if you think about cars like, I don't know, I'm not a car person, so don't laugh at my ignorance, but you think about Teslas and Lexuses and even beyond that, Audis and Lamborghinis and Porsches. When I say those names, what kind of cars are those? You're probably going to use the word luxury or high-end cars, right? If I say things like, maybe a Kia Rio or a Hyundai Sorento, or back in the day, a Ford Pinto, or, some of those smaller cars, you're going to say those are economy cars, those are basic cars. If I say Honda Accord, Toyota Camry, Nissan Maxima or Altima, you're going to say those are kind of your mid-size cars. They're kind of a mid-level car. They're a quality car, but they're not the most expensive. They're not the cheapest. Each of those makes and models knows what their position in the marketplace is. A Ford, whatever the basic Ford is, I'm going backwards in time. Remember a Ford Escort? That's what I keep thinking about. A Ford Escort, but they don't make those anymore. But whatever the equivalent to a Ford Escort is today, they don't market themselves as a luxury car. They don't brand as a luxury car. They do not put in their promotional items that they are a luxury brand. That's not their position in the market. They are a budget car. They are a family car, maybe. They are for people who aren't super fancy, and they stick to that. A Lexus, an Acura, we're going to do this or that. You're there for the bling. You're there for the 0 to 106 seconds. You're there for those things. And so they position themselves in a different place. They're not trying to save you money when they're selling you an Audi Quattro like a friend of mine just bought. They're not trying to save you money, and they don't act like they are. You're going to spend for this experience and for this status or whatever it is that you buy that car for. Understanding where your product fits in your market is important. And so often, I see new boutique owners basically trying to fit in everywhere. They're trying to be a budget. You can get my stuff cheap, but they're also trying to say super, super high quality. And that confuses buyers. You're saying to them, you're a luxury brand, but you're also a budget brand. This is just an example. That's not what everybody does, but that's really common because, I see people not pricing their products where they should be because they're trying to get in on if I'm cheap enough, people will buy it. Not necessarily. I pay big money for the things that I enjoy, the things that I want, because they position those products somewhere else. It's not on the budget scale, right? You're trying to say your stuff is the cheapest, but it's also the best quality. Well, we naturally know in general, products that are a high quality are not going to be a low price because quality costs. You have to decide, and that's usually two of the big differentiators when you're thinking about where you fit within the market. Is your product a high quality that's going to speak to the discerning consumer? Is it a budget item? And there's some other differentiators as well, but you have to know clearly where you fit in your market, and you have to speak to that. Don't try to jump around. When someone balks at your price, like there's some brands that I've clicked on their ads or Facebook ads before, and so now they show me their ads all the time because that's how Facebook ads work. It's very effective, by the way. And I see people commenting. I'll use this example. It's a brand of shoes. I've talked about it before that are skin tones that match Black people. So they've got a variety of tones, including my skin tone, darker than this, a little lighter, very light, right? Love them. True nudes. And so those shoes are made in America, going to make it more expensive. They are handmade to order, going to make it more expensive. So their products are $300-$400 a pair. But I'm going to buy me a pair because I want them, right? I'm not looking for a budget option. What they are giving me is something. Here's another differentiator, the uniqueness of the product. There's nobody out here selling nude shoes that actually match my skin. They match other people's skin, those beige ones, but they don't match mine. They are getting me on their differentiation of being a unique item. And so I'm going to pay for that. But I see people commenting on their ads, talking about when are you going to, be affordable for the regular person. And I'm like, and a lot of people comment, like, this may not be for you. That's not what they're doing. And they're not coming down off their price. They justify their price and they continue to speak to it because they know where they fit in their market. They're not a budget brand. They are quality and they are unique. So being clear about where you fit in is going to help you to not be all over the place, because once you know where you fit in, those people are not everywhere. Once you know where you fit in, and that's what we're going to talk about next, is not to try to win everybody. You cannot win everybody. Everybody is not your target market. And I hate when I hear people, and I say, who's your target market? And they'll be like, women. If that's how you describe your target market, no wonder you're killing yourself trying to find your target customers. There is nothing, no product that exists that is for all women. Period. End of story. I defy you to name a product that every single woman uses, because women are too different. Even if you say women in the United States, we are not a homogenous group. We are all different. There is nothing that we all wear. There's nothing that we all eat. There's nothing that we all consume. There's nothing that we all like to do for fun. So you can't win everybody, and that's okay. You don't need to win everybody. When you think about people, when you think about restaurants like McDonald's, I am not in their target market because I think their food is trash. They are not trying to win me over. They are not spending dollars trying to win me over because I have a different type of diet that I use. I'm not in their market. Yes, I'm a human being that eats food. Yes, there's a McDonald's nearby, but I'm not in their target market. You have to choose rather who your audience is, and that's going to be based on who's likely to want what you have. Figure out what they really want, and then become an expert at giving that to them. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You're probably like, well, wait a minute, MJ. I already have a product, right? I already have something that I'm bringing to the market. That's what made me decide to start a boutique to begin with. I get it, and I understand. But what we're saying on this one is, yes, you have a product, but if nobody wants exactly what you have started out wanting to sell, you need to be able to evolve. You might have started out with a certain type of, maybe it's a certain type of garment that you hand make or some type of a beauty product. But if you get out there and find out that that's not what people want, because you got to ask the people who are spending their money what they want and let them tell you. Don't be so arrogant to say what I want and what I like is what everybody's going to want. There's probably somebody out there that wants it, but are you going to be able to get to them in time and sell enough of it to keep yourself in business? You might be able to, you might not. What are you willing to risk? What a smart business does is they evolve over time based on what their audience wants by asking them, and they become an expert at giving it to them. So it doesn't mean you're going to completely abandon your product. You might stick to your same basic original product, but you got to be willing to tweak it. But you can only know how to tweak it when you ask your audience. And here's what messes up a lot of new boutique owners. You're trying to make these tweaks without talking to your audience. I have had so many people who are super nervous or hesitant about asking the market what they want. They just want to try some stuff and hope for the best. And that is a losing proposition, because you're trying to think for thousands of people you don't even know and give them what they want without asking them for it. It's more effective, much smarter and savvy to ask them what they want. But don't try to win over everybody in the world. First of all, you're not going to be able to do it, because what you have, there's no group of people that all want it. There's a small niche within the market that wants it, and that's your audience. You need to figure out who they are, choose them, get to be an expert at giving them what they want. The reason you're all over the map, the reason you're wearing yourself thin is because a lot of them places where you are, Instagram, Facebook, or your particular audience on those platforms, they don't even want what you want. That's not even your people. So you're spending time talking to people who just clicking right off as soon as they see you. You got to know what your people want to know about, what they want to buy, and give it to them. Next, you need to communicate in your marketing copy very clearly and very concisely. Your copy needs to land hard. It needs to speak the language of your audience. So even though you know your audience, know who they are, do you know how to speak to them? Do you know how to speak their language? I've gotten really good at speaking the language of my audience, and you have to get that way too. And that means writing good marketing copy. And if you really suck at marketing copy, you may need to, I'm not going to say may, you will need to bring experts in. But even with an expert copywriter, you're going to have to give them the building blocks, because they don't know your stuff. You know your stuff. You got to be able to give them the building blocks. But your marketing copy needs to land. Sometimes, because I run so much of my business on Facebook, I see a lot of stuff on Facebook. In my news feed, I see a lot of advertisement, a lot. And it's so funny to me when I can see a marketer out there who has no clue how to write copy. They'll just be like, I don't know, come buy our stuff. It's 2 for $30 this week. And I'm like, okay, who are you? Why would I buy it? Their marketing copy is terrible. And those are the ads that you and I, we scroll right past them. Or maybe they might look up and have a picture that is, that captures your attention. So you sit there and look at that for a second, but then you move on. And there's a reason. A lot of times what they're saying is not captivating enough. You need to be able to speak the language of your audience, capture their attention, whether it's through a video, whether it's in what you've written on your flyer, because we're not just talking about online. Even though a lot of this is online businesses, sometimes you do market in the real world. Sometimes you're at a pop-up. Sometimes you're at a vendor's event. Sometimes you are sending something by email to people who bought from you before, trying to get them to buy again. So it's not just about online ads. I use that as an example a lot, but that's not the only place where you advertise. But your copy needs to be compelling. It needs to be clear. It needs to be concise. And it needs to speak the language of the people that you're talking to. Because and I was going to use this as an example. My son, he's in school, working on his PhD in philosophy. And I tell you what, philosophers love to read. They love to talk about big concepts. They can nerd out for hours about this stuff that makes a lot of us, our heads swim. I'm a pretty smart lady, but when my son gets to what he called nerding out on a certain topic, I tell him, son, is it okay that I'm not going to really be picking up what you're laying down? You just need me to kind of be here as a sounding board. He's like, yes. Then I can glaze over, because the words he's saying, I'm not his audience, right? I could be, but that's not my interest. And that's not my bailiwick, as they say. That's not my wheelhouse. You need to know what your audience, how they speak, the words, the inflections, the tone, the context, all of that. You can't think that your product is so great that it's going to jump up off the page regardless of what you say. People are just going to jump on it. That is a very naive and very self-absorbed way of thinking. You want strangers who don't even know you exist to buy from you. They're not going to do it if you don't know how to talk to them. So getting clear and concise marketing copy that lands hard, that's going to be critical to making sure that people who do see your marketing pieces actually engage with them. See, it's not about being everywhere. That's my point today. It's not about being on all these platforms. It's about being in the right place at the right time, which we're going to talk about here in a moment, and staying stuck there. I'm actually kind of giving away one of my points. So I'm going to stay on my list so I don't get lost. The next one, and it kind of goes along with communicating clearly and concisely in your marketing, is getting crystal clear on the problem that your product solves and why you are trying to solve it. I can't tell you how many products I bought from strangers recently because it was clear to me what problem that I have as the customer that their product solves and why they want to do it. And for me, the why can be, I'm going to skip to that part first. The why can be a variety of things. For me, a lot of my purchases recently have been from Black-owned businesses because it matters to me in this phase, in this season, and hopefully for the rest of my life, to buy Black. That's just me. That's not everybody, but that's a lot of people, and that's me, right? Why? So when I find out that there's a Black person wanting to provide a Black-owned product to the market, that could be part of their why, because they know that matters for Black communities' economy. It matters. And so sometimes it can be that. Sometimes it could be just their story that they're telling about how this product came to be. There's a vegan fried chicken product that comes out of California that sells out within hours every time they put more in stock. And when you get on there and you see the story of the lady who created that product, how her father, I think he had diabetes or heart disease or one of those lifestyle diseases, and they had to make a change and they decided to go a plant-based diet. She needed to create some options because they were getting tired of salads. Why she does it, that drew me in. And then the fact that the product is the bomb is the rest of it. That's the quality of her product. But I wouldn't have even thought about it if I hadn't cared about why she was doing it. But then being clear about the problem that her product solved. Again, her story told that. Some of you have chosen to sell products only because you think that they will make money. Everybody's in the t-shirt business. If I got one t-shirt, I've probably got 75 or 80 t-shirts. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. T-shirts from this, t-shirts from that. I try not to buy more t-shirts, but sometimes they're so cute, I can't resist. Everybody all of a sudden wants to put words on a shirt. But do they even know what problem they're solving? They're certainly not solving a t-shirt shortage, because they're doing what a lot of other people are doing. No shade to having a t-shirt business. There's a lot of people doing quite well in it. But what is the reason that you want to be in the t-shirt business, for example? What are you doing that's different? What problem are you solving? Just filling my drawer with my 81st t-shirt? I don't need any more t-shirts unless you give me a reason to need your t-shirts. So, and this one isn't even on my list. You got to have a product that you're not just doing for the money. Even though you're building this business in part, as a bug flying around, in part to make money, in large part to make money, your motivation for choosing a product cannot just be about money. And I stand on that. Other people will disagree. That's not going to be enough to compel you. It needs to be something you believe in. And so that's where it has to be something that means something to you. And that's where being able to be clear about the problem that your product solves is critical in your marketing, because what every consumer is thinking when they see your ad, your flyer, your booth, your shop in the mall, your kiosk, your whatever, your website is, what's in it for me? See, you often are thinking about it is what's in it for. Most consumers are trying to keep as much of their money as possible so they can spend it somewhere else. In that clear and concise marketing language, what I mean, what the product does to help people. Oh, you're saying it's going to make me more sexy sexy and confident, better at work. Okay, those are reasons I can get behind. Just because it's all communicate that. Okay. The next one is you need numbers and data, not guesswork or copycatting. So a lot of new people base their prices on a gut feeling or on what they see, whether they're making money, whether they're succeeding. They just say, well, my competitor's charging this, so I'm going to charge that. They have no idea how to choose prices that actually are based on real, financial data, real numbers, what really makes sense and what's going to make them a lot of money. So a lot of time how this affects your marketing is you feel like, well, first of all, you're not making enough money on your sales if you price it too low, or if you price it too high, you're leaving sales on the table because people aren't buying your stuff. This kind of is kind of attached to knowing where your place is in the market. Your pricing is going to be reflective of where you're positioned in the market. Think about the Audi versus the Kia Rio, right? You got to know where you are in the market, and then you got where your product is in the marketplace, and then your pricing needs to reflect that, but it needs to be based on real numbers. Sometimes even if you have something that seems like it's basically apples and apples, your apples might need to cost more because of some feature or some ingredient or some other factor that's right. And then you need to communicate that. See how it's all tying together? You need to communicate that in your marketing, why your stuff needs to cost more. You can't just say, my stuff costs more because my stuff is better. No, better. What's better? Tell me about it. I see so many naked boutiques. All you do is click on it. You see the name of the product and the price, and they expect you to buy based on it. I need some compelling stuff in here. I need you to tell me why your stuff is the bomb. And if you're not taking time to do that and let your pricing be based off of real information that you can communicate, that can be making you have to market everywhere. Because again, you're not getting the sales. And so you figure, let me throw a broader net. No, you don't have to throw a broader net, especially those of you who sell products that are consumables. You skincare and makeup folk, stuff that, or people that are selling food products, people use up your product and then they need more. Oh, honey, you don't even need this wide customer base. You can stay quite wealthy with maybe 1,000, depending on what your price point is and what you do, with 1,000 customers that are repeat customers. If somebody you're selling makeup and somebody uses a thing, I don't wear makeup, so I don't know what all the products are, but if they use it up within 2 months and they need another one, if you pay your cards right, they should come back to you, right? So why do you need to keep creating a whole bunch of new customers? Yes, to scale beyond. Yes, you do need new customers, but a lot of times we're not even getting the most we can out of the customers we've already sold to because we're not doing a good job either with pricing or with positioning or with marketing messaging. All of this ties together. And like I said, you're not going to become an expert marketer overall really quickly. It's going to take years of practice, but you can become an expert at what you do with your audience. You can become very good at that, but you got to put in the work together. If you're just pick and choosing, that could be why you're not experiencing the success that you want to have. And then the last one, or maybe I've got two more to go. You need to find your placement niche and stay put. Or as I like to say, don't try to dance on every stage. I'm on this platform, I'm on that platform, I'm on that directory, I'm on that site, I'm on here and there. Because every time you extend yourself, you have to do more work to get there. And there are some technologies, some tools, there's apps that can help you, where you can put a message out one time and it can go all these places and all that. But ultimately, if people start to see you everywhere, it almost has almost like, I call it thirst marketing, right? Like I see people whose stuff is everywhere. And for them, it might work. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but sometimes it seems like you're just jumping all over the place because you don't know what you're doing. It almost has a feel like they're thirsty. Like you just are just shoving it down everybody's throat, just hoping somebody will, take you on a date, so to speak, and buy your product. Your audience is not everywhere because let's just take social media, for example. Your audience is not everywhere. They aren't. The crowd that lives on YouTube, they love a how-to video, they love a new product review. They're not necessarily on TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram or some of these other ones. These different platforms are age appropriate. And again, it's not saying that like I do tend to consume content on all of these social media platforms, except for Twitter. I'm not a Twitter person, but I don't buy the things I buy, and all these shipments coming to my house every day. I don't buy on all of these platforms. You feel me? I buy from a good Facebook ad. Facebook ads are dangerous for my wallet. I stay buying on there. But when I want to see just a little video short or somebody talking about something interesting on TikTok, I just want somebody to make me laugh, right? I don't go on there to buy. I've never bought something I saw on TikTok. On YouTube, I don't buy. The YouTube ads I get are usually for motivational speaking. It's for other things. I watch influencers on there. So you got to know your placement niche for the people you want to buy, because you're trying to own a boutique, right? So you need consumers who are buying. So yes, people might be entertained by some of your content on these other platforms, but if that's not where your audience goes to buy, then you don't need your boutique necessarily on there. Now, can you sometimes attract people to some of your other platforms? Yes, there can be cross-pollination, but you got to look at how much time do you have on your to put into your boutique right now. How thin can you stretch yourself? Find the place where people are that are buying and stick to it. Don't try to dance on every stage. So there is a boutique who I've only seen their content on Facebook. They might not be anywhere else. They've been feeding me their ads for months, right? Because I keep clicking on them. I never buy just because I don't even know why I don't buy, but I appreciate the way their ads look because they're professionally done. The stuff looks really nice. One day I probably will patronize them. But they're staying put. They have found their niche. Apparently, people buy from them on Facebook. I'm assuming. Again, I don't know their bank account. I only assume that because they're continuing to advertise on Facebook, they must be doing okay. That's not always the case, but it sometimes is. Figure out where your people are, your audience, when they are purchasing stuff. That's why Facebook has evolved into such a powerful advertising platform, because it gets people where they are when they're ready to buy. They have such a great targeting for advertising to the people who might buy from you. And I love it for that reason. But there are some other platforms out there. But if your people are not buying when they're on Instagram, why do you need to be spending your precious few hours you can spend on your boutique on Instagram? Maybe once you're full time, you can experiment with building Instagram. But if your people are on Facebook, or they are, maybe your people, maybe they go to a certain shopping directory looking for people to buy from. Again, that's really popular in the Black owned space, because so many people that are interested in buying Black, they need to know where are other people that are Black owned. So they go right to these directories to buy from them. So if that's where your people are going that want what you have, get on those directories and focus on building that up. Find your placement niche and stay put. You cannot be everywhere. You're killing yourself trying to do all these things, especially when it's not providing you with the fruit that you are looking for. And then the last one we're going to talk about, and this is kind of an offshoot. It's kind of a given, but you'd be surprised what I'm seeing out here in these retail streets. Present your product professionally. Ma'am and sir, none of this other stuff will matter if your stuff looks like trash. Period. End of story. We ain't got to talk about this one a lot, right? Put the money into your product and make it professional. One of my young ladies that I watched grow up, she's recently launched a makeup brand. I'm really proud of her because it's very professional looking. She's just now doing this. So a person that's just now starting out could be using the excuse, I don't have the money to spend on professional product. Ma'am, if you're trying to get to the place where you have the money to do stuff, you need to spend the money beforehand or you'll never get there. When you are new, you are the one that can't afford to slip. Your stuff needs to be on point. Your stuff needs to look just like the big dogs. It needs to be a clearly, the product, gotten some stuff in the mail. I was trying to patronize our people, and I still patronize her, but not for these certain products. Got the product, and you could tell she printed the labels off on her home computer, but not the professional glossy labels, just some old cheap laser print or some inkjet. That's what I'm trying to say, labels. So as soon as I touched it, the ink started to run and do all this, and it was greasy on the outside. I can't remember if this was a deodorant product or some kind of lotion. It was something. Ma'am, no, ma'am, do not do it. It needs to be on point. Don't sell me crap saying when I get more money, then I'll get better. You need to be on point from day one. Period. End of story. Get the money. Invest the money. We talk about money a lot on here because that's a big barrier that it's a lot of you are letting stop you. Get the money. Spend your money. You got some money. We got money for trips. We got money for bundles. We got money for lace fronts. We got money for outfits when we want them. You got the money. You need to spend it on your boutique. I'm not going to go down that road. Y'all know I get real. Y'all know I go in when I start talking about it. Make sure your product is on point. Spend the money to make sure your product looks like it's been on the market for years and like you have a team of 30 people putting together your product. It needs to be like that. When they pull it out the box, it needs to feel like what is it called? Oh shoot. I can't think of what the word is, but that top tier 5-star experience. It needs to be on point because it doesn't matter how well you market your product. If your market's trash, you might get one sale out of people, but they're not coming back. And you need that repeat business to build your business to a place where you're going to be able to quit your job. So we've talked about a lot today. I've gone way over time, but I really wanted to talk to you about this stuff. And I know a lot of you, your mind's probably swimming now, like, oh my God, I didn't go to school for marketing. Guess what? I didn't either. I had to learn a lot of this stuff along the way. And that's why I'm out here helping people to try to implement this stuff in your business. You can take this list and still be overwhelmed by writing marketing copy and how to know which place to actually focus on and who your audience is and how to make your product professional, all that. It can still be overwhelming even when you have these strategies. Because remember I said people are doing marketing for years before they really get it dialed in. It's not something you're going to master overnight. You can watch 1,000 YouTube videos about it or whatever and still be confused because you also need a strategy for implementing these things in your business step by step. You can't just say, I'm just going to do this over here and I'm going to do this over there and hopefully it'll come together and people will flood my website. That is such a naive or simplistic way of looking at business. And what you're trying to do, building a 6-figure business that brings in $150,000, $200,000 so you can quit your job and work for yourself full time. It's going to take more than a couple of little hacks here and there to give you those consistent sales. So you're bringing in $10,000 a month after expenses so that you can pay yourself and still invest back in your business. That's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen for free. You're going to have to spend money on your marketing. You're going to have to spend money learning the right ways to implement these marketing strategies. And if you need help implementing what we've talked about today or anything else in your new boutique, then I invite you to reach out and book your free breakthrough call with yours truly at MelanieHunter.com/chat. That's my calendar. Pick a time, then write it on your calendar so you will show up like a professional does, like a CEO does. Fill out the application that's going to pop up after you book your call with me. And we're going to get on the phone and we're going to talk about what have you been doing wrong? What are you trying to accomplish? What is your why? Why are you even doing this? Why does this matter so much to you? Then we're going to map out a game plan so that you can start to put these marketing strategies and all the other things you need to from A to Z in your business into practice right now. Because the best time to invest in your business, the best time to treat your business like a business and not like a side gig or a hobby is right now. It's not going to happen by magic. It's not. But when we talk on the phone, we're going to get clear on what's not working, what you might be doing that might be working, piecing them together, filling in the gaps, and getting you started on a strategy where your business is the real deal and not some fly by night, I'm selling stuff out of the trunk of my car, because that's not going to lead you to be able to quit your job and have a real grand opening day where you're bringing in the money that you need to support you and your family. So again, book your free call. It's going to be the best 45 minutes you've ever spent building and working on your business. MelanieHunter with 2Ls.com/chat. Let's have a conversation. 2020 is fast moving on. Time is up for treating your business like it's not important, but giving the lip service of saying you really want to be able to retire from your job. If you really mean that, and if you're ready to invest money, time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears in your boutique, because you can only get great rewards when you put in great effort, then we need to have a conversation. It has been my pleasure sharing with you today. Go ahead and book your call. The hardest part is booking the call because it's so scary, because this might be the first time you're actually doing something real to start your boutique, and it can be scary, but that's okay. I'm not scary. You've heard me talking for 40 minutes. You know I'm a nice lady, and I'd love to help you, but it's going to take you believing in your dream enough to treat it like it's important. So let's have a conversation. Meanwhile, I'm going to sign off. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll talk again next week. Take care. Bye-bye.